We return to the Wyld Ones as they have made their journey away from Ginkgo's Grove to the place that they came from. The edge of the cliff that hangs over the Oathkeeper Reef, looking down on this churning whirlpool of water. And is it divine magic? Is it arcane? Is it primordial? Is it a horrific combination of the three? It is difficult to tell, but it is not natural, certainly. We return with each of you stood on this cliff face looking down at the whirlpool. The red moon still hanging high in the sky. The ground desolate around you. But you have travelled. You have prepared. All it takes is another step. What would you like to do?
A leap of faith, as you will.
Leap of faith.
I say if you want to partake, we hold paws, hands, hand-like implements, and jump in together, because Lord knows I know what it's like to go into something like that and not come out the other end with the same people. So, shall we?
Okay. How cold are Frike's hands right now, given her state?
Pretty cold. Pretty icy cold. Yeah.
I reach my paw out to Frike. The cold never bothered me anyway.
Disadvantage on all saving throws going forward. I'm joking.
She'll squeeze her paw gently.
Okay.
So the idea is we are jumping in the whirlpool?
Your only way is down.
So Connell is gonna... His arms turn giant first as they wrap around everybody. His body follows, and then he just runs to the cliff and says, "Cannonball!" So he's acting as like a compact meatball shield for everybody else as we all tumble in.
Uh-oh,
A
SpaghettiOs.
meatball with no meat, ironically.
All hard.
Mamma mia.
All hard. Always.
Well, before jumping,
Al dente.
Aegis will take Frike's other hand.
She'll squeeze your hand. Especially, like, they're all holding hands and then Connell just, like, sweeps everybody into a group hug and, like, dives.
And as we're spinning in the water, it's just like,
Yeah, there's a certain undignified squeak from the twink.
And down, and down, and down you go. Despite finding yourself beneath the waves, you don't struggle for breath. It seems, despite being underwater, there is no concern of drowning here. As you spin, 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 hugs, nice. As your view blurs and then burns a brilliant white. And you feel the water dissipate around you. I think Connell grabbing hold of everyone, you feel almost like a sense of zero gravity as you relax your arms and everyone just sort of slips out and finds themselves weightless, unable to see this bright light, which is not uncomfortable, it's just blocking your vision. Before the next thing you know, your feet find ground. And it's not solid ground, not what you expected. It is more, is it sand? Is it ash? It's soft, but holds weight. And as you readjust and your senses start coming to, the first thing you do notice is something that you haven't experienced for a matter of weeks at this point. Sunlight. And as your eyes adjust, you see that up above in the sky is the sun. Dimmer than you remember, but it is there, and that is the first sign that you are, for the first time in weeks, back on the material plane. You look down at the ground and you see it does look like sand. It looks the same as for those of you that had been to the Shadowfell proper, that black sand that coated the ground mixed with the dirt. But under the sunlight, something which the ground of the Shadowfell had never seen before, it takes on like a deep ruby color. It's like deep ruby sand. And you take in your surroundings and you see distant ocean, not much in the way of landmarks until you look over to the right-hand side, and in the distance, you see a city. City some of you have seen quite intimately before. It's the city of Rhódania from the Shadowfell. This is the capital seat of power belonging to Fryk's father. And I think as you are all adjusting, Elisich, the first thing that actually hits you is, yes, you haven't seen or felt the light of the sun for some time. That's not what you've been missing. Because the first thing that occurs to you is you feel reconnected. That connection to nature that you have been screaming for inside for weeks now. You feel it reconnect. And you look around. In fact, give me a perception check.
6.
A 6. Amazing. Perfectly on brand. It's almost a bit tricky to really take in your full surroundings because you're so focused on this connection being reestablished. But you look just off to the side and quite close to where you are stood. You see plant life. You see a batch of small flowers in the ground that are blooming. And off to the side, you see almost like a moving claw of rot moving towards the flowers. One of the flowers shoots up higher than the rest and explodes as what looks like radiant pollen erupts from it and pushes the rot back, and then the rot begins to creep closer again. Nature is attempting to fight back here against this new threat, but you can feel that it is struggling.
Can I see what kind of flowers they are? If they are magic in any some sort? I know you said about radiant, but is anything that I'm familiar with?
I would say, even with a perception check of 6, just based on what you know, your expertise in the field, the way that the flower was blooming so quickly, there is definitely a supernatural element to it.
Is there kind of like anywhere safe that we can go to nearby? I know we've only just got here, but I'm kind of worried in case we've just suddenly popped up and we could be anywhere, really. There might be enemy forces, or
I think to figure that out, you might have to resort to one of your companions that might not roll a 6 perception, unfortunately.
I'll give it a shot.
Thank you for taking
as the rest,
that hook.
Anyone who wishes to now at this point can try and take a good look around and get
Could I not do
24.
restock things.
Mommy.
30-20.
22.
Ooh.
I'm going to do a little survival check to see if I recognize the area, if it's near where Connell's cave was.
Yeah, sure.
You had a bat cave?
A training cave.
Oh.
15.
A 15. That's pretty good. I'll say we'll do the survival check first. You quickly lock eyes on the city over to the right-hand side. It's a little far away, but you know, just based on your time in the Shadowfell when the city was there, that if you were to head from where you are straight ahead for a little while, maybe a half hour, and then there's sort of an outlying ruined town where there's a little bit of a maze of streets, so you go through this particular direction. You feel pretty confident that you would be able to direct the group to where that cave was, if needed. As the rest of you look around, your eyes were drawn to the sun first, and you do notice that it is there, it is present, and it is dimmer. And as you look around and begin to try and understand why, you can see that from the city, there is a spire at the center that was not there before. And it seems to, at the very tip of it, be enveloped in tendrils of rot that seem to be clawing at the sky. And from this, there is a beam of energy that is cascading upwards. And it looks like, with those high rolls, it looks like it's beginning to form a lattice work of magic. Like the beginnings of like a shield almost that is slowly taking shape. Like it's trying to cut the city off from the sunlight. And looking through it, it looks like, you know, when you look through a pair of sunglasses and everything is just a little bit dimmed, it has like that effect. And as you look around at everything else, it is the land of the Shadowfell, and it is rotten. It is devoid of most life, but you do see little patches of nature trying to reclaim. But you do also notice that in the area that you are, the rot that is around is only in small, like, puddles. And the ones that you do see seem to be slowly moving in the direction of the city. So it doesn't appear like there is an immediate threat in this location. The last thing I will say is that you look behind you and there is like a tall mountain. And on the face of it, you see this large, circular portal of energy, which appears to be where you stepped through.
She'll just glare up at that point in the city. Well, other than the occasional eyesore, doesn't look like this place has changed all that much.
When was the last time you were here?
100 years, maybe 2.
So, not that long ago then.
You look great for over 200.
She just cracks a grin because that caught her so off guard, but thanks. While we're here, gonna take another leap of faith, and I didn't throw out the sending stone because I know they didn't work in Shadowfell, but can I attempt to use it now that we're here to send a message to Madeline?
Can certainly try.
Okay. Just 12 words. Oathkeeper Reef in Demethrin, look for the portal, find your way out.
Alright, go ahead and roll me D100.
Okay. 56.
56. You feel the message struggle to pierce the veil of the planes of existence until eventually it seems to just break through. And a moment passes, another moment passes, and you feel the spell reach its destination. A moment later, you get a response. We're trying. That's it. Just 2 words.
Okay.
Connell's gonna run his hand through like the ribby sand, picks him up and just like let it spit out of his hands, and he's just like, that's different. It wasn't red before.
Everything looks different in the light.
It's funny what a little bit of sun can do.
I agree.
So is the sun's currently present in a place that's never had sun before? So like how in the material plane currently there's like weird moon cycles where things happen, is there weird sun cycles where things happen here?
It appears to be perfectly normal. If anyone would like to, you can make a nature check to try and figure out.
I can certainly try.
To try and figure out like the nitty gritty of what's going on here.
Could I argue Arcana?
Of course you can.
Just because to see if there's any magical influence still residual from everything converging.
In fact, Arcana will get you a different kind of answer.
It's my better checks.
14.
14, okay.
Oh, no.
You're going to dice jail.
He just knows nothing.
Today.
He just knows nothing.
I got
Same.
a 9.
A
You know nothing,
9.
Jon Snow.
I got a 9 too.
We want
So-
more, damn it.
For the Arcana, it is difficult to ascertain. There's definitely something going on. And you feel like you don't see any indication that the natural cycle is changed. But there is definitely something influencing things in this space. With a 9, you just can't quite. Maybe it's because you're not feeling yourself at the moment. It's just not, you're not quite finding the answer in this moment. Now for the nature checks. For Frike and Aegis, the drastic change in where you were to where you are now, it's difficult to really ascertain what's happening here. And I say with a 14 from Elisich, you keep looking towards the city and where this lattice work of energy is, and this beam going up into the sky that seems to be creating it. And you feel the battle between nature and rot emanating throughout this place. It's almost as if, like, you're not entirely sure, but it's almost as if the forces at work here are trying to... I can only think of one term that works above table, just to help you get the right idea, but it's like they're trying to terraform.
Oh.
Okay.
No bueno.
That's the fantasy equivalent of terraforming, let's say. It is like the atmosphere is trying to change, but nature is fighting back.
Presumably, we fell from the sky some way. We jumped in a whirlpool, we spun down, and it felt like we're entering this, like, endless space. If we look up, is there, like, the portal from where we came from? Is there bubbles?
No, that's the portal is on the mountain behind you.
That we came from?
Yes.
Okay, so we just kind of, like, shunted out and just landed?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And does it look like we're underwater?
No, you are on dry land. The only water you can see is an ocean very far out. Like, almost on the horizon.
Okay.
Are we kind of out in the open, or are we in...
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Can we determine the closest, like, discernible path toward, well, I guess it'll be tricky navigating around the rot, but, like, a path that presumably leads to a road closer to the city, I think is what she's looking for.
From where you are, it almost seems like a straight road to the city. Like, over to the right-hand side. Like an almost completely uninterrupted straight line of clear ground that eventually formulates into like a road with ruined buildings on either side that then is the outskirts of the city.
Ruined buildings?
Connor's going to kind of like somewhat lead the way. If I'm remembering everything right, I feel like I've been here before. The ocean's familiar. And that mountain pass looks familiar, so if we just keep following this way, I should be able to find us somewhere somewhat safe until we can get our bearings and figure out what's next.
She'll hold up the sending stone. If we do need to get in touch with Atticus, we can.
As you're having this conversation, Elisich, you feel a tug at the back of your mind. It's a strange feeling. It's like something or someone is trying to reach out to you.
Is there a physical area that, like, where we are that I feel drawn to go to? Or...
It's not like it's trying to pull you in a specific direction. If anything, it's like it's trying to pull you inward.
I'm just going to sit down where I am and not move. I'm sorry, I feel like I can't quite move on yet. Do you mind, I don't know, keeping an eye out for me while I do this?
Okay. We can get our bearings and take a moment.
So Elisich is, like I said, she sits down, tucks her knees to her chin, wraps her hands round it, and sinks her head between her knees. You kind of hear her mumbling to herself in a language you don't understand. The few things that you hear her say is Tumon Vahut, is Mishudaniain, is Eakusil Fon in the Beha. Kind of almost looks like she's like a little child crying into herself. And as she's reciting this, you see the dreads in her fur turning into vines and sinking into the ground around her. You can see a little pool of water just kind of like just slightly risen from the earth as she dips her toe in, and a little bud in between her big toe bean and her little toe bean starts going through. Not bloomed or anything, but she closes her eyes and just continues to recite to herself as she tries to commune for answers.
And this is how Elisich appears to you in this moment of prayer over the course of the next few moments, minutes. For you, Elisich, you feel like a release as you're shunted out of your physical form and find yourself in a very different place. The first thing to hit you is the smell of petrichor, dust after rain, the sweet smells of nature, and as you open your eyes, you're in a beautiful, stunningly beautiful landscape of nature. The sound of birdsong and a slight breeze, almost like music. And as our view pulls away from yours and shows you, what do you look like?
She looks younger than she was before going into her prayer. Still a little bit scuffed up. Her hair has started getting a little bit long. You can see one dread kind of starting down the side of her. Hasn't got her full beard yet either, so she's looking probably about a decade younger than before. I would probably safely say that she is wearing a kind of like blackishy purple, like aubergine sort of colour, but slightly sheer dress over her, still in this little seated fetal position. As she looks up, she notices that she has something connected to her. A very large, long vine with different blooms of moon lotuses in different stages of their life cycle, ranging from little buds to full-blown massive lotuses, kind of more dwindling towards she is, but as it goes further up the vine, she notices the flowers getting denser and connected to someone.
Our view follows this vine. It leads to a giant tree, beautiful and blooming. A tree the likes of which would make Roshan's Rise seem like an ordinary shrub. This colossal piece of nature manifest. And at its roots stands a female figure. Mai, please tell us what the first looks like.
She's a woman with deep red flowing hair, possibly a couple of dreads as well hidden in between. She's not exactly the tidiest looking person, but that's what happens when you're with nature. She has one eye of a human, the other eye of a wolf or cat-like creature. She is wearing a sheer, almost like peasant-like nightgown covering over her heavily pregnant belly, where the vine is connected to. She has blood, little droplets of blood dripping from her fingertips, vines covering where cuts and scars would be along her chest and her arms. And as we move down to where her feet are, well, they are completely soiled in mud and any other sort of natural materials, moss. There's mushrooms growing from her ankles, and you'll notice from head to toe, from within her mussy hair, there's, again, moon lotuses in different stages of their life cycle.
And as you see this figure, she lifts a hand up, gesturing you to join her, and the vine that connects the two of you slowly begins to contract, pulling you in that direction.
She gets up and walks through the squishy, mossy lawn towards her.
And as you reach this tree, you take in the full beauty of this creature. This embodiment of what it is to not just be nature, but to be alive. The beautifulness and yet also the sorrow. It's hard to look away. As she looks at you with a very warm smile. Child of the Pact Bloom, I welcome you to the verdant expanse.
I've missed you, Mother.
And I miss all children of the woods. You have done well to get as far as you have. Tell me, to which name should I refer you?
Well, I don't. Sorry. Rhódania.
Of course. A beautiful name. You have been trying to connect for some time. Our connection has been severed for long enough. What are your intentions?
We've just gone to... Sorry, it's hard to go back to this.
My child, speak however you are comfortable.
We've gone... We've been in a place with no ties to nature. We're now in a place where nature's fighting back. We're about to go into a really rough place, and I'm scared of my friends just... She just kind of like, just rubbing her face and her eyes and just... I need your help. Nature's trying to fight back, but I don't think we're enough.
Nature is indeed fighting back, as it ever will. You face an unprecedented foe beyond any of us. But the fact that you're here, the fact that others are here, means there is opportunity. I fear we do not have time for a full history lesson, as it were, but I can give you knowledge, insight that will be of great use to you and your companions. You deal with the god of death, not just a god of death, but the god of death. This world began with five deities. Life, death, time, order, and chaos. The story of life and death has been forever entwined in many ways, and through one reason or another, the gods were betrayed. Death had his own justifications for what he did, but it came at great cost. Cost that I don't think even he was prepared to pay. In the years that followed, he found his powers withered as another took his place. One of my kin, another of the first. I believe your people knows them as the Raven Queen. We mourn her loss. She was a powerful, powerful ally. But a caretaker to the throne, it seems. We first were champions chosen by the gods to carry on their legacy until the true children of the gods could return to govern. They have been kept away by the events that happened when the threads were pulled too taut, when the loom was broken, when a line was crossed. And while death was indeed sealed away after the rite of ascension, the world carried on, but his hatred, his malice turned to rot. At first just figuratively, but now quite literally. The rot that you've seen. She sits down and starts running her hands through the grass. The true gods of Rhódania cannot set foot on a material plane. Not even us, the first, may do so. Only one has been able to. One of the gods found a way back and has been almost a pretender of their own throne for some time, shedding her mortality in order to do so. You know her as Amire, the goddess of the moon.
My friend, well, worshipped her.
Yes.
Reese.
I have seen the one called Reese, very steadfast in his faith. And she puts her hand on your shoulder. He does well. I see him even now. He is home and he is safe with his kin, protecting his people.
I miss him so much. I miss them all so much. I'm trying to do what you said.
I think she pulls you in for a hug. The reason why I'm telling you this is because for a god to walk the material plane, they have to shed an aspect of divinity. It weakens them. To some extent, it makes them mortal. So what do you suppose that means when the god of death now walks on the material plane?
If he can die.
How can a god of death, one with the power of death, succumb to it unless that was the price he has paid? His reasoning for all of this, his revenge, he wishes to reach the divine realms, like this one. He wishes to inflict all of them with their malice, and he could not do that from the Shadowfell. But now he is on the material plane, he can start to break through, but he is weak. Weaker than he wants to be, and he will surround himself with whoever he can, weaponize whoever he can. But he can die, and he must. For once he is gone, the gods have no barrier. They can return, they can restore balance, they can reverse all of this. The convergence will be ended. Those lost to you can be returned.
But the last time we encountered him, we faced him, he nearly killed us. banished us. Some of us, anyway.
Yes, he did.
I was lost for all those years, like...
You were sent on a journey, one that you were destined to do, to lead you to this point. It is unfortunate things played out the way they did, but you are still here. You stand with me now, and you and your companions have the tools necessary to bring change. You asked for help.
Yes.
I am no god, but I am the closest thing to a god that you have right now. And I protect the Pact Bloom here in the verdant expanse. And help you, I will. And she plucks a seed from the ground. She takes your paw and she places it in your paw. Closes it. Puts her other hand on top. And this vibrant green light starts to shine from inside your hand. It feels warm, comforting. And as she lets go, branches begin to spread out from inside your hand that grows longer and longer, sprouting flowers, moon lotuses, daffodils, a myriad of different flowers. Flowers that evolve and change from one flower to another, to another, to another, in a matter of moments. And it grows into a quarterstaff. Child of the Pact Bloom, I bestow upon you the Heartseed staff. You intend to defy death, but more importantly, you intend, more than anything, to make sure you do not lose any more of your friends. And for that reason, and only that reason, I give you the best power I can.
Thank you.
I'll try my best.
I look forward to seeing you here again when it is done.
May I ask you one more question?
Yes.
When should be the right time to reveal myself to them?
Whether it's Rhódania or Elisich is not important. From what I have seen your whole life, you have been told who you are, whether it be by a book or by people calling you a princess of the Fae. People saying you are a Wyld One, you are a planar traveler, you... My dear, you are who you choose to be. And it is always going to be your choice.
I'll take that as a vague answer then.
Vague answers are what we are good at.
Thank you, Mother. I have to say, it's been weird going back to my old voice.
It pleases me greatly to hear it.
I think for now, though, I need to continue to protect them and wait until the best time possible before I reveal myself.
Of course. May the blessings of Amire, Lurien, and Elunara be forever intertwined within you.
For all things that live must die.
and everything begins to fade to white. And you find yourself kneeling back down in that sort of half-seated position. You breathe in, breathe out, and open your eyes. And you're back alongside your companions. For the rest of you, it's been maybe a minute. But in that minute, in one of Elisich's hands, you've seen like a branch grow into a long flowered staff. And now just rests on her knee in her hand.
Can I note as well that usually whenever Elisich has communed, prayed even, there's only ever really been one very small moon lotus that has ever cropped up. Another thing you might notice surrounding her is as her dread vines pull themselves away from the earth, a large star-shaped cluster of moon lotuses, all in full bloom, have popped up around her.
Mai, if you'd like to refresh your character sheet.
Yeah. Yeah, baby. Here we go.
You are now in possession of the exalted form of the Heart Seed Staff.
Oh, sexy motherfucker.
You can use it as a spellcasting focus. It grants you a +2 bonus to your spellcasting attacks and your saving throw DCs. At this level, once per long rest, you can cast a heightened version of Cure Wounds with a range of touch, 68 plus your spellcasting modifier. Once per long rest, you can also cast a heightened edition of Mass Healing Word at a range of 60 feet, 8d4 plus your spellcasting focus. And once per dawn cycle, you can invoke Verdant Renewal. You create a 60-foot radius of divine growth around you that protects your allies and ensnares your enemies within vines and thorns. It is concentration-based, lasts up to a minute. Until the effect ends, the aura moves with you, centered directly on you. Each ally in the aura, including you, gains resistance to necrotic damage, and their hit point maximum cannot be reduced. In addition, if an ally with 0 hit points starts their turn in the aura, they gain a hit point. For non-allies, the area is considered difficult terrain, and they must succeed a strength saving throw against your DC, or be restrained by the grasping vines and thorns of the Heartseed Staff. You can also hit people with it, but that's not as effective.
Thank you, Pat.
You're welcome.
Sorry.
So you come back to consciousness with this staff in your hands, surrounded by this beautiful, blooming grove that has formed at your feet.
Little tears going down her eyes because Marriot's been crying as well, so that goes without saying. But, oh, well, that's never happened before. What? There's so many.
Connell sneezes.
Gesundheit.
Yeah, the pollen levels have increased dramatically since you got here.
Soz.
While you continue to talk here, I have some dice to roll. So please excuse me.
Okay.
So,
Where did all
Have
these
your-
flyers come from? As he rubs his eyes.
sorry, it doesn't usually... usually when I pray, there's only one that just kind of comes up between my toes, but, seems as though the first has blessed me more today.
The first?
That's the first I've heard that one.
Yeah.
Have you not heard me talk about the first before?
Not that I can recall.
Yes, I've mentioned it to Kinko first. Even she knows who the first is. So, I mean, the first of are of 5, and the one I commune with is one who is the mother. And I'm her child. So, not her actual child, but when it comes to the mother, we are all her children. But she gave me a present, it seems. A very nice, very powerful staff. I think for brevity's sake, without actually saying she was for Rhódania and all that kind of jazz, she just tells them what they need to know about the 5 and the conversation we had. So, yeah.
Yes, you're
those little ears of theirs, you know.
You're given the relevant information bestowed upon Rhódania that the god of death could only be here by means of sacrificing some element of his divinity, which means that he must be, to some degree, mortal.
The part about the Raven Queen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If she's confirmed dead, I guess, is the impression that I got. Can she attempt to use Blessing of the Raven Queen?
In a flash of energy, you appear, is it 30 feet, I think?
It is 30 feet, but I don't think she'd be aiming in a particular direction. She might just want to, like, disappear and then reappear.
Okay, yeah. So, it works, with the only difference that you notice is that the feathers are no longer black, they are white. A symbol of the god of death.
Okay.
Shifty side-eye at Frike.
So that still works.
You still feel a connection to your abilities. It might just be that they're from a different source.
But I didn't make a deal with that source. I made a deal with a different source.
So it's ketchup rather than catsup now, eh?
Yeah.
I guess.
And a god of time, you say? And he looks at Mr. Timey. Look how the connections are connecting.
Mr. Timey's just going to look at you all, and he's in the tweed outfit after being flung out of the portal, and he just sort of says,
Right, I'm none the wiser. I wish I could comment, but this is all very new to me as well.
It's interesting how we can be told so much and yet have so little actually revealed.
Oh, for context as well, can I just check something? Seeing Frike kind of like using their ability, can I check if if the rot spread that I've got, and if the rot spread on any others of us in the group?
You feel out with your abilities strengthened because of this reconnection to nature now that you have returned to the material plane. There is no change in the rot when it comes to your companions. The rot on yourself appears to have vanished. Not a trace.
This is where Myra makes a joke about trying to hand out pamphlets for the others to join the cult of the first, you know?
Would you like to talk about our Lord and Saviour?
Yes. My deity would love to hear from you.
Okay. The rot.
Well, not so deity, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. The rot still looks white on her wound.
It's not rot anymore. It's more like a white scarring from where it once was. It is like an echo.
So both of us are rot-free.
Yes.
Okay.
Except you had to die. It seems.
Mr. Timey seems a little off.
Yeah, I was going to say, Mr. Timey, you alright? What's going on with our tin friend?
I'm perfectly fine. I'm back under the sun.
Perception check.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make an insight check.
Insight, rather. I was going to say, if it's deception, I'd be fucked. Insight. Ooh, 21. Dirty 21.
Ooh.
I have a +8 to this.
Fuck off.
23.
Ooh.
Oh, you cunt. Sorry.
16.
26.
Oh.
The twig comes in clutch.
Always. So with the 26, what do you think Aegis sees in Mr. Timing at the moment?
There's a level of uncertainty, for sure. And you remember seeing before you went through the portal that he was very jarred, very not himself. In fact, he was multiple people at once at one point. His disguise was just jumbled like a jigsaw. So there was parts of, the Astarian that he interacted with. There's parts of the tweed. There's parts of the fur coat. There's parts of his normal, Warforged self as well. And he's put together here, but there's definitely something that he's not saying beneath it all. Like there's an air of worry about him.
Are you quite certain? You just like unblinking.
The fake eyes of the disguise are going to narrow, and he's just going to go,
Yes, I'm purely confident that yes. Anyway,
your lies do not
Weird
benefit
question.
the group. Do they?
who said I'm lying? I'm not lying.
Because he's a construct, can I still do a medicine check on him?
Look under the hood.
Technically, I can too.
Pop the hood. Yeah, I'll allow it.
Okay. Who wants to restrain Mr. Timey?
I wonder who'll do
That's
that.
all you had to say.
Okay.
Wait, what are we playing? Rhódania or Stradalicious?
Playing Operation here. That's what we're doing.
Connell's restraint to Mr. Timey will just be holding his hand.
Bless.
I ship it.
The Tin Man and the Rock Band will be friends, even if Mr. Timey fights it.
I mean, it all depends of whether or not he'll let me check him, I suppose.
What is your response as they seem to be closing up on you? Clearly not buying what you're saying.
So I'm just going to quickly message you, Patch.
Oh.
Oh no.
Quickly cast Power Word Kill.
Mr. Timey like he uses self-destruct is what he does.
Yes.
It's like a Voltorb.
100%.
I think Connell grabs Mr. Timey's hands, being like, "So if you're a time god, do you know what I'm about to say before I say it?" And that's why he's like clutching on his hands really tight. He wants to see the magic happen.
What am I going to say next?
Did we just become best friends?
Are we going to be best friends?
Fucking Artie's face right now. She's like,
Yeah.
coy little shit.
That keyboard sound is the sound of Mr. Timey computing.
Peter says no.
I'm sure it's fine.
Oh,
So
don't like either of you boys right now.
Connell's just holding his hand for now, right? Or
Yeah, he's
do so
clutching
much more.
He's clutching his two hands. That's the restraint.
would Mr. Timey be considered restrained from this?
If Mr. Timey was to pull away, would Connell let him go?
Tell me what I'm about to say before I say it. You're a time god.
Damn it.
I can assure you I'm definitely not a god.
You were sent to us by a time god, so you're a time angel.
I'm definitely not a fucking angel.
And I try and break away.
Okay.
Connell, let's go, because he's like, an angel wouldn't swear.
Valid.
Fuck's sake.
So Connell, let's go.
I'm gonna look to the party and say,
Look, I'm as perplexed as you all. I came here, I was told to help. That is the extent of my programming. I don't know what comes next. I don't know what happens when we complete the mission.
Could I just not give you a little bit of an MOT,
But you know that something
please?
isn't
I'm
right.
really curious.
Mr. Timey just
And then
does the
just
gesture,
shows us
just
no rocks.
gestures to the entire world, like the entire area around, and says,
He has
Of
a
course
point.
something's not fucking right.
A lot hasn't been right for a long time.
No,
but
I meant with you.
But might I suggest, before we go head into the bullshit...
With me?
Oh, wow. Okay.
What if he's a fallen time angel, and that's why he keeps swearing, because this time god doesn't like it?
As baffling as some of Connell's logic is, he does point out the fact that, Mr. Timey doesn't always swear like this. Certainly not in this persona. And he's sworn probably more now in the last 2 minutes than he has the whole time you've known him.
Oh, fuck.
I have a very dumb theory.
I love it when you say that, Bridget.
And this is just me scraping the bottom of my brain barrel, but, okay. I think the manner of the professor, like, it feels like a professor character. If I'm off base, you can correct me, but, does that, especially the evocation, can she, like, reach in her memory to see if this feels at all familiar? Because, like, above table, I think it sounds like Bob. To me, it sounds like Bob. But, to Frey, can she just, like, see if there's something familiar about the appearance or the evocation?
Go ahead and make me a history check.
Okay. No modifier. 12.
You have a modifier, it's just +0.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're all good at it, me.
Now, there's no forgetting Bob, that's for sure. Bob is definitely a unique individual. There's elements of similarity, but it's difficult to determine just how much. You know, I suppose the only thing really that would strike you as similar is like the tweed, specifically. As when you met Bob, that was a very unique look, not something you saw very often in Rhódania. But you do think about that, and you think you recall that Bob was never originally from Rhódania.
Mm-hmm.
So perhaps wherever Mr. Timey's from, wherever Bob was from, there could be several worlds or planes of existence where tweed is more common, mayhaps.
I think I know the
Perhaps
answer,
worlds
but
made
Fred
of tweed.
doesn't.
Okay.
She'll just kind of, I mean, she's kind of, she's had this sense of, like, kinship, that he seems a little bit more protective of Freyk than, so I think she'll just kind of approach with, like, her hands up a little bit as though, like, trying to broker peace, and she's just, well, I think it would, and I'm not saying you have anything to hide, but I think in order to do your mission effectively, it would be prudent to talk to us if something does come up. When you're ready.
Mr. Timey's going to nod slowly, and he's going to cast, like, as much as he can muster sorrow, with it being an emotion that he's probably not really all too familiar with. He's going to look at them and the party in general and just say,
Well, if I could tell you, I would. This is half of the problem. I'm here for some reason. Everything else is behind walls and barriers that I cannot get past.
Just that grim look of understanding, and that I relate to that. I wish I could say I didn't understand, but unfortunately I do. Let's get off the sand. I don't like sand. It's coarse and irritating, and it gets everywhere. Let's find the path.
Frank, make a death saving throw for that fucking horrific reference.
It's not even the first time I've made that joke.
I know.
I'm right in the middle of a really nice sip of tea. You can't do that to a Yorkshireman. That's a hate crime. As you say that, the more perceptive of you hear in the distance towards the city a thunder crack, or what sounds like a thunder crack, followed by more organic sounds you've heard before, creatures of the rot, sounds I think are very familiar to Connell from your time running and hiding and fighting in the Shadowfell. You know that creatures that stir in that city are beginning to muster together. It's not a good sign. And then you hear something else. You hear an electric kind of sound, a buzzing, static begins to pick up in the air, and you feel a breeze start blowing through behind you as the portal seems to be activating behind you. Would anyone like to do anything in this moment?
Kai.
Okay.
Something is coming through.
So we're in the middle of an open plain.
Yes.
Are there any, like, protruding rocks or any kind of coverage?
Not for another maybe 100 feet plus. Unless you want to go towards the portal.
I'm
There's not
imagining.
gonna be a hand that sticks out of it, is there? Hand, please.
It is not. No, it's not Dale. We already had Dale, remember?
Fucking Dale.
It's just that moment in The Incredibles when the portal opens up and everyone kind of like ducks into a fighting stance. I think she'll just kind of instinctively crouch, ready to fight.
I'll just get to see weapons ready.
Mr. Timey's going to, around the party, cast Wall of Force as a hemispherical dome.
Oh shit.
Hell yeah.
just to cover them.
What does that look like?
Good question. It starts off at the top, and it starts to like... It's an expanding cog at first, and then slowly it just sort of like trickles down. Imagine almost like sparks, and then as the sparks dissipate, there's just like a prismatic barrier that forms in the space.
Hell yeah. So Wyld Ones, as you prepare yourselves for whatever it is about to try and break through this portal, the static in the air gets stronger and stronger. It tingles on your skin, the hairs on your arms. If you have hairs on your arms, stand up.
Just Ellis just like phew.
Yeah, the dreads start to float. And the portal begins to glow and glow and glow until a myriad of shapes begin to appear. The first one breaks through, and it is a large, massive shape. Almost like a diamond pierces through. And as it soars into the air and the light begins to cascade off of it, you see a sight that few people in the world have seen before, but those that have regarded it as a sight of much needed hope in times of crisis. Aegis, especially, knows what this feeling of hope is like, as the last time you saw this, Aegis, was as the northern continent of Demethrin was crumbling at your feet, and the Concord Jewel came to pick you up and save you. You see it again, leaving the portal, ascending up into the sky. How do you feel seeing that after all this time?
He just is glowing, of course, because, you know, that halo's just always glowing. Not really, but like, he's just, he's in the feelings, I'm in the feelings. He lets out a swear.
What?
He's like, oh fuck yes.
The halo disappears.
And as you do that, you see other shapes begin to glow in the portal, and shapes leave as figures fire through at different speeds, different velocities, different shapes, different sizes. The more prominent one being one familiar now to all of you, a golden dragon cascades through as Ginkgo, in her full dragon form, with a rider on her back, as we see Astra, former companion of Aegis, as they soar through the air. You all look up towards the Concord Jewel, and you see figures out on a railing waving down. You see a tiny little gnome girl with bright hair in pigtails. You see a gangly blue air genasi in monk robes, and you see, wielding a large battle axe, a furry claw, as Beatrix, Ayo, and Chioko are stood aboard the Concord Jewel. more and more of these figures ascend out. A big shape comes through, roaring through with a cackle, a familiar cackle, as the discourteous rose rockets its way through, chorused with the almost insane level of laughter from Captain Madeline Crowley, and fires her way through this portal. And you start to see ropes being thrown down and people descending. You see Thrash and Foe coming down with a mechanical construct arm that is full of like serrations and whirling blades and stuff as he laughs. You see on another rope next to him a slender metallic form, the form of Rosie for short, who just gently glides down. You see a almost toadstool-like figure of splendor and cuteness as Forage glides down.
Sorry.
As Elisich tries not to react. And then the music that you didn't even realize was there to begin with almost changes as a couple of figures begin singing as they come down. Prepare for trouble and
God.
make it double! As Team Fuck It descend down one of the ropes from the Discourteous
Definitely in the
Rose.
fucking Pokemon movie now, aren't we?
Couple of robed figures that look like wizards jump down from the ship, and they begin casting magic, which opens up smaller portals, and you see figures start to come through. You see owl folk of Roshan's Rise coming through with tiny little makeshift weapons and spears and armors and like plant pots for helmets. You see the royal armies of Zundinarg, of Berthi, of Etherion, of Cathramand, of Demethran. You see the famous monk order of the Grand Library of Zavillan, and at the head of it, two familiar figures. The half-orc Kego, who you met, some of you, on the very first day of your adventure in Merrimwind, when you were awaiting the arrival of the Discourteous Rose, and stood next to him, in a tweed suit and combed back hair. You see Bob Crandall adjusting his cravat and smiling widely. More of these portals open up. We see one open up and three figures descend like floating in the air, very elegantly dressed. You see two female figures and then one more slightly androgynous. This one sticks out a bit more. Aelin, could you please describe Reese for me? Not Rhódania's Reese.
I know, yeah.
You can't just throw that
Aylin's
name right
Reese.
there and not explain.
Yeah, you see a board, like it's a vessel or something, astride a, like, griffin that looks like the night sky. Very, like, shimmery with, like, speckles of, like, silver. A green tiefling who has these kind of smoky patterns on his skin.
Almost like oil slick in appearance, shimmers as they move closer, and flanked by two feminine forms in finely dressed robes, one with long dark hair and very sort of symmetrical features, the other one short cropped red hair, one very familiar to Elisich as someone you have not seen for a few weeks, as they look down and give you a bit of a wink. And as all these figures start to come together heading in your direction, a somewhat larger portal than the small ones opens on its own next to you, and a group of numerous figures walk through, led by an old man, quite old and withered, but with a strange spring in his step, who I believe one or two of you have met before. A man by the name of Phileas McPhilius, a very eccentric and somewhat potentially batshit insane merchant who comes through and skips and almost backflips to the point where he has to recover through the arcane means and says, "I thought I'd round up some old friends." And you see stepping through figures we have not seen on Quest Junkies since potentially as early as 2020. As we see some of our heroes from Rhódania Chronicles past. As we see Bax Kasabe, Valander Amane, Kangar Volgorin, Yavis Longtrail, Bastia Batu, Zool, and Phileas McPhilius. Come back for one more ride.
Is Phyllis McPhillips the guy who gave me the never-ending mug, like, from Reese, which is now just filled with, what, coffee, I think it was?
Yes.
Back in the day.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
That's
That
right.
Had the
batshit
brooch
crazy
commission
dude.
from him. Yeah.
And
It's a proper party then.
everyone starts heading your direction. Madeline pulls the ship up above you alongside, lowers a rope down. Well, what's it gonna be, Wyld Ones? You want to go in on foot or do you want to lift? 'Cause I'm going straight for that fucking tower.
Should
Is
be.
that all? Connell shouts to everybody.
What else you got?
Thrashing comes over. What, you wanted more?
I could take every single one of you with one arm tied behind my back. But let's settle it after we kill the death god.
That's a
Such
good
little shit.
Yeah.
Okay, let's prepare to die. Not us, them. I mean, not them, but
I think
them. And points to the
as you
town,
say that,
city.
one of the female wizard individuals comes up and says, "What's wrong with your voice? You didn't sound like that before. I mean, I'm glad you're back, but..." all right.
Talk later.
All right. Well, voice aside,
No.
voice aside, I think the people need a stirring battle cry or something. Some sort of, perhaps a monologue of a rousing speech or... Heavens, I don't know.
Connell's gonna walk over to Frike, draw a sword, hand it to her, and say, "This is your moment."
Oh no.
Mr. Timey drops the wall of force, FYI.
Yeah.
Might help.
Yeah, and the short-haired ginger wizard's like, "Oh, thank you for doing that. I was about to, dispel it, but that's fine. Save my abilities." Oh, sorry, I
Showing
didn't
off.
introduce myself. How dreadfully rude. Archmage Kellen Sturgrove, the pleasure is most certainly yours. She takes a big, deep bow. And there's a cry from up at the ship, like, "Who's that? She's fucking tidy."
No, just looking between Madeline and Carolyn and just Frike just having this realization, just like, wait, do I have a type?
And in your mind, you hear a voice speak, "Darling, everyone has a type. It's usually me. It's fine. I get it a lot."
Taking the sword that Connell offered and...
For thematic purposes, Connell's going to turn giant again, so Frike has a platform to stand on.
Hell yeah.
Not mechanical, just thematical.
I'll give you a freebie.
Also, she's like ice cold, so I imagine it's like standing under a garage that's like frosted over with a bunch of icicles. But,
Oh lord.
she'll just kind of whip the sword through the air in like a dramatical fashion and just... thinking about what Madeline said, she'll like sheathe the sword and just say, "Well, wherever we go from here, we know we're gonna be arriving in style." And I think she'll keep it simple as that.
Let's fuck up her dad!
You turn to head forth towards the city of Liana. You hear from the various armies gathered behind you the sound of horns, the horns of battle sounding. Now, do you go on foot? Do you take the opportunity to jump on the Discourteous Rose? You could go on to the Concord Jewel. You have a few options.
I mean, it would be so rude not to Mad Max this bitch.
It's up to you,
Yeah,
Wyld Ones. How do you want to do this?
I think she's heading for the Discourteous Rose.
Okay.
Angels will do the same.
And various groups of these adventurers separate off into different areas, some joining you on the Discourteous Rose, some boarding the Concord Jewel, everyone preparing themselves, and as the horns sound one final time, everyone moves forward, and our view pulls away from this scene of the beginning of the battle for Rhódania. I'm going to leave us with one last image. As the crowds of people pull away, one last portal, small, opens and a figure steps through, shielding themselves from the light. And they look over towards the Discourteous Rose. Something catches their eye. Someone catches their eye. Bridget, describe Eamon for me.
Okay, he's little kitted out like Aragorn. I'm just guessing fashion choices of Aragorn. Very, very blonde, curly hair. It's slightly overgrown. It always hangs a little in his eye, and he's always got this like kind of sun-kissed look. These like startlingly bright blue eyes. Very angular jaw, I think, and yeah.
As he looks from the side of this mountain, and our view pulls in close on his face as he just looks with concern, and he just says, "Frike." And no one hears him. And that's all for this week. Tune in next week.
Behind. No.
Find out what happens next. I'm sure it's fine.
Oh god.
I'm excited, but also like